Hi there and welcome. This is Roger at SwiftCloud, and I am truly excited to bring you something that is very close to our original DNA. I'll get into that in a second. But here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover how to easily generate MCA, merchant cash advance, but that also means like business financing, equipment leasing, SBA loans, right? Any kind of business financing, factoring, whatever you're into. How to generate MCA and business financing, deal flow, and automate your financing business without buying leads, expensive agencies, or working crazy hours. Just to make sure you're in the right place, this is SwiftCloud for MCA business financing. Before we dive in, quick question. Are you a lion or butterfly, right? So that's a little bit of a rhetorical question, but I sort of mean that. So my goal is to make your business 1% better every day. Now, I know in the real world, that's not actually how it's going to happen. What is going to happen, if we aim for that, then what will happen is some days you'll get a 5%, 10%, 20% boost, and then other days you'll get zero because we're actually implementing. But if we aim for every single day, make a 1% better improvement to your business, guess what? By the end of the year, you're at 367%. And that's just in a single year, right? So I'm sure you'd be happy with a 300% raise, right, on your personal take-home money. And the way it works with margins in businesses is a lot of times there's this kind of iceberg effect that as you raise margins, your other fixed costs don't necessarily go up, and so success compounds, right? So I want this webinar to be valuable to you even if we never do business. I want you to walk away with this with actionable knowledge even if you never give us a dime. That's what we value your time and focus, right? So attention and focus is really valuable, and this is why you need us, because this happens to you too, like to your business. It happens to borrowers, to leads, to restaurant owners. You're trying to get some bar owner on the phone, or some guy who needs $500,000 for a new tractor, right? And it's hard to actually keep attention and focus from the right people at the right time, and that's why we've set this system up. So. A lot of people start, not all of them finish. So stick with me on this, and grab some tea, grab some coffee, and actually dive in and let's be focused. Leaving this on replay, I'm taking a risk here, means that you could pause and then get distracted, and it's just going to be this thing that doesn't actually make your life better. The default destiny of this webinar is no change. The default destiny of what we're doing today is that tomorrow will be just like today, and next week will be just like last week, right? My goal here is to 2x, then 2x again, then 2x again, then 2x again, which is that's 16x, not 10x, right? But just because of how that stuff compounds, right? That's not going to happen by accident. It's going to require focus, decisions, and then applied action, right? And it doesn't have to be a lot of work. It just has to be smart, right? So if you're ready for a 100% raise or a 367% raise, then, what's that going to mean for your life? It's going to mean, and furthermore, even beyond this, it's going to be some things about not about the money, right? As you make more money, the money actually means less. If you already have 10 million and make another million, who cares? It's not going to change your life that much, right? But if you've got 0 million and then you make $1 million, it really will change your life. Next, I feel a little bit bad even calling this a presentation, because I want it to be somewhere in the middle between just a conversation and a presentation, some sort of middle ground where it's not me talking at you. It's just like us having a conversation. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And if it's banker's hours, California time, USA time, then you may get an answer in minutes. I don't know, right? It depends if who's online, and right, it'll probably be from me. If you ask something, if you're watching this at 3 a.m, totally cool. That's an advantage to this. So we focus on leverage systems, and this is a leverage system. So most of what I have to say will be on here. The downside is what you have to say and the questions you have, that's not leveraged. Well, it's okay. We want to set up leverage for you. That's what we do as a business, is create leveraged systems and automation systems, right? We want to do the same for you, and then we'll kind of get into that in a second here. But point being is your questions are valuable to me, and if we have some questions that are not covered in this webinar, then let us know. Just drop them in the chat. We'll get back to you. All right, real quick. We're going to blaze through this. Who is SwiftCloud? Because mostly at the beginning, you don't care. We know that you don't care. You're in the headspace of, how is this going to make me money, right? We always assume all of our marketing starts from, I don't care about these people one bit. I only care about, like, how do I finance that tractor? I do need that tractor by next, harvest season. How am I going to make that happen, right? Or I got to make payroll by Friday. How is that going to happen, right? And I'm $40,000 short on payroll, right? Or 20,000 short or something, or this, you get the idea. Who is SwiftCloud? So we are nerds who automate. We've got about a dozen people. A bunch of them are overseas, but the only people you speak to will probably be in the US. If you're in the US, if you're in India, then we want to get you help from India. We want people to speak your native language, whatever it is. That's our stand, and we have an awesome group of people that are distributed. Everybody works from home remotely, and that's because we make software to make this kind of thing happen. So, and we can also do the same for you for sales agents. I'll get into that in a second. We've got legitimate skills. We've done over 200 websites, some projects over $1 million. We work in one particular project. We built a decision engine for pharmaceuticals, so for pharmacies to buy pharmaceuticals, and it compares pricing and advanced criteria, and then it helps them make that decision. And some of that stuff reports to the blockchain, and then that also reports to the US DEA. Why do I mention any of that? Number one, military grade encryption, which is definitely applicable to finance. Number two, decision engine, right? We'll get into that in a second. So we have a growing team of awesome people around the world, and our goal is everything you need to run your business financing business in one application, and then to automate it using AI so that you can fight back against the big guys. Who are the big guys? These huge companies, right? The companies that come in with millions of dollars. You know who some of those brands are. They've got, they could throw $2 million at technology, because that is a train leaving the station. You need to be on it. That's my stand, right? So we're going to get into that in a second. What is SwiftCloud? SwiftCloud is actually pretty exciting, but mostly we're still in the headspace of I don't care. Here's how it matters to you is imagine your deal flow being automated. Imagine clients having like a social workroom where they upload, so you don't have to fish through and like pick out their bank statements and stuff like that. What if all that stuff was automated? Right? Every time you needed bank statements and proof of business and let's say their incorporation paperwork, what if all that was automated? Right? That's kind of the headspace we were coming from. So I actually started in the mortgage industry. I think I mentioned this. Started in the mortgage industry as LenderMate, a mortgage-specific CRM. And we got to work, and it was dumb. Nothing was automated. So I got to work, and I had come from a technical background. A buddy of mine got me in, and those were the years where you just had to show up, and everybody was shoveling money at you. So it was easy. I didn't break 7 figures per year. Income. So, it was easy to make good money for a while. And some of my friends, a bunch of my friends made more than 7 figures, and a couple of them even 8. So we built the software, and then other guys would say, hey, that's pretty cool. How much you want for it? And that's literally how we were born. It was just out of necessity. We needed it. We started building it. Other people saw it, and then just the whole thing kind of snowballed. And then somewhere along the line, early in the years, we switched over to SwiftCloud and Swift CRM and some of these kind of things. A couple of years ago, we did a ground up rebuild because we had built this basically Frankenstein out of like $1 million worth of other projects, right? So time clock and all sorts of stuff, and kind of built it into this one thing, and then turned into a Frankenstein where nothing worked together very well. So about 2 years ago, 28 months ago, we did a ground up rebuild and actually built a social network. So a social network almost like Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that, where it actually creates a profile for, let's say, your borrower, right? So as soon as they sign a doc or something, it actually creates that. Again, why do you care? Simplifies your work, right? So SwiftCloud is the foundation for a bunch of specific applications, right? So electronic docs, e-sign, electronic signature, marketing tasks, Swift CRM, that kind of thing. And built into it automatically, you can't even turn it off if you wanted to, is a branded to you portal. So if you decide to do any business with SwiftCloud, you will end up with a portal with your logo, your colors, even your domain. It could be like apply.yourdomain.com or secure.yourdomain.com. So why do you care? Number one, deal flow. You want to have control over the flow of incoming applications, and you almost want to get to a stage, we want you to get to a stage where it's like a spigot. You turn on the spigot and you're getting a little busy, so you turn down the spigot, right? It should be that level of control. More time closing means less time on the intro stuff, less time chasing paperwork and incomplete deals, less time and fewer, which also means less slip through. So if you're only closing 1 or 2 deals a month, then you're probably fine. You're probably not losing anything because you have enough time that you're, unless you're really disorganized, in which case you really need us. But if you, assuming that you're chasing a lot more deals and closing more deals, then what happens is you start to get busy. Somebody doesn't get back to you with their bank statements. The deal's incomplete, and it just kind of, lingers there, and things slide over each month. And we want to help you solve that. So automation and systems equals fewer deals slipping through the cracks. Freedom. When things are set up, when you have systems properly set up, your weekends should be home barbecuing. You could go to your kid's soccer game. You need a client's data at 3 a.m. Or you're going to see them at a party and you want to see, hey, is your loan approved, right? Is your MCA, or when's your MCA due? We're going to see that guy at a party, right? You should be able to just call that up on your phone, right? And they should be able to upload their bank statements anytime, and more. Of course, there's organization, room to improve, better life, security. Even recently, I had one of my computers. I've got multiple computers, but one of my computers broke, right? It just crashed, right? And frankly, didn't affect me that much because most of my stuff was in the cloud, on SwiftCloud. Imagine 50% of your systems on autopilot, and you just need to be the conductor, right? That is our goal for you. Now, I know you can't automate your business. I get it. We hear it all the time. And you're right. We can't automate all of your business, but we can automate more than you think, right? You just need to be the conductor. So we want to help you save time, save money, earn more. All right. Our goal, improve your business by 1% every day. That's 367.8. All right. So I think I covered this. I used to be in sales. What I needed didn't exist. We made a mess for a while. Over the years, we learned and discovered kind of what was needed through years and lots of conversations, hundreds of conversations, and a lot of problems, and then solving that for people. So, all right. Now we're getting to the meat of it. Problem number one is lead generation, right? So what do you do? Right? Well, what you do is do what the lead generators do. Make your own. And it isn't that hard. That's what I'm going to show you. So we have been hired over the years. So we built an agency. We built over 200 websites. We had some case studies of like one client was getting 61 applications per day. Not leads, not cold data, not even inbound phone calls, 61 applications per day. Right? And so imagine the marketing framework, and imagine what your business could be. So our goal for you is to help you generate your own leads as easily as turning on the tap, right? It should be that kind of thing. And here's the magic recipe, right? You can write this down, you can paste it on your wall, because there's so many people out there selling magic bullets, right? And that's because there's a lot of money. It's human nature to want this, like, oh, I just take this pill and I'll lose weight, right? It's like everybody wants that. I get it. And so we're always seeking like shortcuts. But at the end of the day, marketing is just these really maybe 2.5, like 3 things here. Number one, compelling offer. Okay, it has to be truly compelling. It has to be like anything that you'd be a fool not to take. Quick little side story. My wife likes bunnies. She's got some rabbits, right? And she really likes bunnies. And she went to the store, and then she came back and was telling me about this bunny pillow. And then she's like, yeah, I got to go back and get that. And she did. She actually regretted not buying that thing, right? And that's what your offer has to be, is something that is so compelling, at least to the right people, right? Next, it's delivery to the eyeballs, delivery to the right eyeballs, right? So if you're trying to reach, equipment vendors, right? If that's it, that you're trying to reach people who sell tractors, right? And then develop them into a lead source, then that's delivery to the eyeballs, right? And so what's the best method for that? Well, there's 19 different methods, generally 19 major methods of traffic. And so you got to deliver that compelling offer to those eyeballs. Last is the action has to be less than the trust and effort. I should say trust and effort required, right? So if I get to an application and I just want to quote, I just want to know, all right, how much how much can I get? How much do I qualify for? And you're asking for everything. You want my firstborn child and my bank statements, and I don't trust you yet, then we got a problem. I'm not filling out that form. You do it, right? So this happens to people all the time. You see this on like realtor websites. You see it on so many banking websites. And this is actually where most small businesses is they're always trying to rush the sale. Well, in marketing, you want to go from like first a glance, then a stare, then you're close. You're not touching, but you're talking, and like you're clearly interested in each other. And everybody's trying to rush that. Everybody's trying to like skip 5 steps and be that creepy guy at the bar who is like just trying to jump into your pants as quick as possible, or you get the idea, right? If it could be the woman who's too forward, right, and trying to skip a few steps. When they're first in that headspace, they're sort of like, help me get up to speed. Help me learn about, like, why is this right? So especially if it's something proactive instead of reactive. If they're proactive and they're looking to finance a new tractor for $500,000 and it's not till next harvest, they probably have time. There's no, like, burning fire under them. They can make a careful decision. And so you got to kind of warm up those leads, and you got to take them through that glance, then the stare, then and then, maybe being close and then holding hands, right? And what that looks like is just marketing, right? It's just, it's a series of marketing, and you want to set up retargeting. We can help you with that kind of thing, right? So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But anyway, that's like almost everybody's like, fill out this form, right? We're not there yet, right? It's just, that is too forward, right? So once you understand this kind of dance that we go through in the real world, and you kind of break it down, and then it doesn't have to be that hard, right? Now, I get that in some cases, if it's like the restaurant owner who has to make his payroll by Friday, well, guess what? Yeah, we're going to take them through those steps as quick as possible. But those steps don't have to take a lot of time, but they do still have to be done in the same order, right? And so that's critical. So a solution is SwiftCloud landing pages, and this is just one of the modules within SwiftCloud. Is you can create these marketing funnels, right? You've probably heard that, and it's just because it's a good analogy. At the top, you have, let's say, 10,000 people who are impressions, and 1,000 of those people become to your website, and then out of those 1,300 of them opt in, and they look at your page and say, okay, I'm interested, right? And that's like a shy yes. Don't jump on me yet. Don't call me. I'm not there yet, right? But they're kind of like, I want to learn more. And so, right, that's kind of the funnel analogy. So what's exciting about SwiftCloud is they're crazy fast, and also we can set them up for you, and we've got a bunch of templates and stuff like that to just make it easy, right? So you can test and iterate crazy fast, and that's really useful if you want to like set clones or something. So here's the biggest problem in marketing. We are making this new campaign that's kind of to help us internally about, it's like a mock medical ad about a disease called founderitis. Most small businesses have an acute case of founderitis. And that's because the business is totally dependent on the founder. Now, your business might be this too. Here's the solution. The solution is a repeatable, systemized marketing machine. And what does that look like? Imagine a slot machine in which you put in $1 and you get back $2. You put in $1, you get back $2. If you put in $1, you get back $2. If you had that slot machine, how much would you put in? As much as you could, as fast as you could, right? That's it. You just take the $2 back out and stuff that in. You get 4. You put in that 4 and you get back 8, and you put in, right? You get the idea. That is your goal for marketing, is to develop this repeatable, systemized deal flow spigot, where at the end of the day, once you have that set up, you will have a magic number, and the magic number is called cost per closed deal. Or said another way, cost of customer acquisition, CAC in the SaaS world, in the software as a service world. So all those guys, they're into it. All the marketers know this, right? Cost of client acquisitions. So let's say that your average income per deal on a typical MCA is, who knows what, $5,400, let's say. And would you spend $283 to make $5,400? Of course you would, right? And you'd spend it as often as you could, right? And so that's our goal for you, is to help you develop that kind of system. So our goal is to help you transcend and get cured of founderitis, and to set up a predictable cash creation machine. So the trick is, so what you need is that compelling offer, and then you need traffic. You need eyeballs, right? There's about 19 different methods of traffic, and they all come back down to either time or money. But here's the trick. It doesn't have to be your time, right? And a critical idea that I want you to understand is that hiring a carpenter or painter is a lot cheaper than a general contractor. Traffic specialists can be more affordable than you think, right? Especially if you just go to a guy, I say this because it's often guys, but it's, there's lots of women too, right? So my gender pronouns, ignore that. PPC, right? So let's say you just want a Facebook PPC person, right? That's just one of the 19 methods of traffic is Facebook pay-per-click PPC, pay-per-click advertising, right? As compared to Google. And then there's Google SEO, search engine optimization. Then there's local SEO, which is maps optimization. Then there's AdWords, right, which is like SEM, search engine marketing. There's all these different acronyms. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to compelling message, delivery to the eyeballs. That's it. Understand that recipe, and then that's it. And then what are you asking them to do? I guess that is part of the third thing, is you want to get them to a landing page where they have some reason to engage with you, right? So there's the funnel analogy. By the way, you can steal competitors' ideas using tools like SimilarWeb, SpyFu, etc. There's dozens of these tools. And you can basically just look up, and all you have to do is look for consistency. That's the magic trick. Now, if somebody is spending $40,000, so remember that whole analogy of the slot machine, right? You put in $1 and you get back $2. Now, if somebody keeps spending money over time, that would be evidence of a successful campaign. If somebody spends $40,000 one month, and then you look at everything else and they haven't spent a dime, so you look at like tools like SpyFu. You don't have to do this now because we're going to go into it in a second, but if you go into a tool like SpyFu and you see this big spike on spending and then nothing for 18 months after, guess what? That was a dud campaign. And what's awesome, because those people have arrows in their backs, they just wasted $40,000 on a money-losing campaign, right? So what's exciting about the web is you can't hide. Nobody can hide. Everything's visible, right? So we have an e-course webinar, by the way, on traffic to make this easy. And I didn't mention it here, but really it's kind of the executive level overview, right? So there's big money in being a real estate developer like Sam Zell or Donald Trump before he was president, right? So love him or hate him, politically, I don't care about that. He was a successful real estate developer. Well, guess what? The hammer swingers who worked for him, they didn't make that much money compared to him. Right. His job was put together the strategy, to be the quarterback. And that's our goal for you, is to train you just enough, just on the kind of bare basics, so that you can be the quarterback to drive your own outcomes, right? So we have a talent marketplace for that as well. 4 ways to double income. This is, kind of general to any sales. Get more leads, close a higher percentage of those leads, earn more money per deal. You could also say that as earn more money per customer, right? So let's say in the case of MCA, people come in, they do MCA and then do an MCA refi, and then they, let's say, do an equipment lease to take out the MCA, and then they come back because they need another You get the idea, right? Make more money per deal. And if you do that per client, then you can also get a lot more referrals. We'll talk about that in a second. And last is to reduce expenses. I'm going to assume for most people, you probably can't shave that much off your costs, so not enough to really make a meaningful difference. So we're going to tackle getting more leads. And number 2 is really your sales skills, right? If you're great at sales. Now, of course, in any sales, there's a certain percentage you're going to get just by being professional, showing up. And then there's a certain percentage you're not going to get, even if you did everything absolutely perfect. And then there's that big range in the middle, and that's the range of a professional. I'm going to assume that you are good at what you do, and obviously having good tools and moving with velocity, having good tools and moving with velocity can help you close a higher percentage of the leads that come in. Anyway, at the end of the day, we want to mostly have to help you get more leads. All right, big problem number 2 in the business financing space is I have to chase people. Solution, make them chase you, right? At least some of them, some of the time, most of the time. I think you can get most of them chasing you, and most of the time. So the doctor on the right, when's the last time your doctor called you proactively to see if you needed something? They never do, right? You're lucky if you can get them on the phone. You got to call and schedule an appointment, and it's 2 or 3 weeks out, and you got to go in at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday because it's convenient for them, not when it's convenient for you, right? That's what we want to help you do. So the solutions are, number 1, automation. So just like this video is just one of many types of automation that there are. We want to set up stuff like that for you. So we want to set up ways to serve people on their schedule. Bar owners, right? In college, I dated a lady who worked at a bar. She was a lot of fun, easy on the eyes, but she worked weird schedules, right? So come 2:30, that's when she was done with work. She wanted to party till sunrise, and I was in college, so those two schedules didn't line up that well. But point being is, if a bar owner wants to apply for an MCA because suddenly they realize Wednesday they're not going to hit their payroll target, right? And it's 2 a.m. on a Thursday morning, let them. right? Set up ways to make that easy. You want to get e-assistance. That's going to look like scheduling. That's going to look like automation. You should never have to remember that this guy came in, applied, was denied, then went for credit repair, and he's on now day 73 of that cycle. That is the job of a robot. Do not do that work. That is like, if you don't have an assistant, then you are the assistant, right? Our goal is to get you technology-based assistance. That's really our focus. So we want you to work less, use leverage. And of course, we want you to help you get more referrals. And the referrals are actually key. So when I was in the mortgage industry, we got to 107%. That was the actual measured results. Because remember, I came from a techie background. So what that means is every client that came in slightly more than self-duplicated. There was a statistical likelihood. So as long as it was just this machine, you put in 20 clients and it would turn into 21 clients, right? The following 45, 60 days out, right? So how do you get referrals? Let's break that out. We got a couple different referral types. So one is affinity business, biz dev, right? This is conventionally called biz dev, affinity type, so high trust. So this is like the financial planners, right? Could be the equipment dealers, right? They come to you because they want you to make them look good and because they want you to solve a problem. A lot of times they don't have their hand out in the sense that they're looking for a payment. What they're mainly looking for is take good care of my client and make me money in other ways and hopefully send me back some clients, right? Now, what's beautiful about these affinity referrals is that they are often high trust. So when I was in the mortgage business, I used to get referrals from financial planners, and oh man, I loved those. They were like gospel, right? I think my closing rate on referrals from financial planners was something like 87%. It was high. It was basically like made money at that point because they came in and they trusted you, right? If their financial planner recommended you, then you were probably good to go. Next is we have an exciting case study for you. It's a sales army concept where you have commission only paid affiliates, right? And you basically go to them. So whether that's legal for you in this, like certain types, I know in like residential financing, you can't do that. That's a RESPA violation. And in certain states, you have to be licensed, but in other states, you don't, right? So you could definitely get people referring you business and just simply pay them, right? And what's exciting is you only have to pay them when they actually deliver results, closed deals. So we helped a client generate over 530, might have been 550. It was definitely over 500. It was in the mid 500s last I talked to that client. 500 plus commission only sales associates who would just send in their deals, and that makes for a nice sort of steady base, right? And what's going to happen with the paid affiliates, you're going to have Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, right? So you're going to have some rock stars who are just killing it and they're making great money. And then there's going to be a bunch of, soccer moms and soccer dads and that kind of thing who are looking for, let's say, part-time money, and they can make an extra $3,000 a month part-time on the side on top of their existing job. Or maybe they are a tractor dealer or, equipment dealer, or in their medical business or something. They sell the medical equipment and they just want to help you close more, but they actually want to get a piece of the action too. However you choose to work it, you're going to have that, and then there's going to be some duds. But who cares on the duds? Even if, as long as you set up things properly, where they're not spending any of your time, and that's we can help you do that. That's exactly what we've done, is to put up some firewalls, because the people that most want to suck your time are also the people who are probably the least effective, right? Guess what? Like some of our best clients, we can barely get them on the phone, right? They're just like, just make me money, man, right? And that's it, and we do. And so some of the people that want to chit chat the most are probably the least effective. So you got to put up some firewalls if you go down that road. So last is happy customers, right? And so the trick with happy customers is to ask them at the right time and during, not after. That's a common mistake, during the transaction, right? So as soon as you start that transaction, you let them know up front. Most of our clients refer us to other clients, and as we do a great job for you, we want to learn to work with other people just like you, right? We really like working with you. It helps us keep our advertising costs. This is what you do there. You set the expectations right out of the gate that is what people do when they're working with you. And then the second thing is you want to frame the ask, right? So when you ask for referrals, like who do you work with, right? Or what other dentists do you know that could also use this, right? That kind of thing. So how to get applicants to call you? You got to set up tracking of the source, right? And so this gets back to guys like us, right? This technology is we can easily track everything, right? So we can track, we have a whole system that we built that's incredibly powerful. It's other clients paid us tens of thousands of dollars to build it called Bloodhound. And like a bloodhound dog, it would sniff out profit in the sense that it would sniff out every single like deal that closed or project that came in. You'd be able to see, okay, it came from Facebook via this client, via a certain referral, right? That kind of thing. So, and the second thing is you just have to like motivate these people to do it. And sometimes they do it for intrinsic motivation. It's not always money, but that is a good way, right? So in the case of the Sales Army tool and the Sales Army system, you're obviously going to pay them, come up with some sort of pay structure, and whether that's, $500 flat rate or they get paid per application. If you want to do that, like that's called CPA network advertising. There's a couple different ways to structure this. You want to pay them a percentage of the deal, then you got options, right? Problem number 3, and this is where things get particularly exciting, is I'm not a computer guy or gal. That's okay. You don't have to be. Be a problem solver. You are the problem solver, and you are the expert that people come to for money, right? So I'm a restaurant owner. I'm short on payroll. I need money by Friday for payroll, and it's Wednesday. You have all my bank statements and everything. Let's make this happen, right? I got to borrow money, and I got to, Band-Aid this together. Or I'm refinancing something. I just need short-term money, right? So I got a refi coming, or a business is sold and I'm waiting for something to close. Who knows what, right? And it's like, okay, I need quick short-term money. MCA is a good tool for that, right? So you just want to hire nerds like us and focus on the outcomes. And speaking that little character on the right there, that's an example of a pioneer. So pioneers are often lying dead in the dirt with a bunch of arrows in their back, right? So what we want, the solution for us, and this is irrespective of us, is just focus on the what. There's lots of guys and gals who will make the how. They'll solve for how. If you just stay focused on here's what I need to happen, then you can find people like us to make that happen, right? So don't reinvent the wheel or overcomplicate this. You just want to focus on 1% better per day. These little incremental changes, but every single day, right? I know that you don't have a lot of time, but what happens is as soon as you start to make this shift in your business, again, irrespective of working with us, if you start doing this, it'll start to compound and you'll start to create time. So this webinar / conversation that we're having, a big chunk of my time is asymmetric. I can record this once, right? We could help you do the same thing. So clone templates, and that isn't just literal templates. Sometimes it's like you can look at somebody else's systems and say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's just take that and get inspired by competitors' traffic or competitors' marketing or something like that. Or take it and apply a concept to a different industry. That's another thing. So automation compounds, habits also compound, and you're looking for 1% daily. Okay, so momentum and habits are incredibly powerful. As a reminder at the beginning, I said the default destiny of this webinar is no change. Next week will be just like last week. People get all fired up, but in a few days later, nothing has changed. If you can't break those habits on this call, probably nothing will change, and next year will probably be like last year. But actually a little bit worse because some of the world is changing, and if you're not marketing to some of those people, guess what? Other people are. So my goal here is to create an inflection point. So, by the way, speaking of, I'm going to make an offer for you. And again, it's like I'm a stand that you get actionable intelligence even if we never do business. But I want to take that away as a concern where we can set up everything for you if you decide that you want to do business with what I'm about to show you right now. You just send us your logo applications. We'll handle it. We want you to be successful. All right. So you now have a choice in front of you. The choice is do nothing. That's a legitimate option. Number 2, take action, but not with SwiftCloud. Number 3 is to add us to your team. Okay, so let's start to dive into okay, what would it look like to work with SwiftCloud? Here's what you're going to get. First of all, just out of the gate, right? So SwiftCloud as a system just keeps getting better every single day. Every single morning I wake up, and from India and Philippines, I have reports about stuff that was done, and I report issues, and the issues are usually on the new features that we're building out. So for example, we recently built video mail. Why would I care about video mail? Yeah, because it's a great leveraged way to get in front of people, and it feels a little more personal, right? Tiny little thing that we just threw in. There are other entire companies based on that one tool. We just threw it in like a week. So we move fast, and we got awesome people that can handle some really advanced stuff. So you've got eDocs, you've got CRM, right? CRM, we recently added custom fields. We got all sorts of great stuff to help you run your business. eSign with complex forms, so you can do unlimited docs in the whole system for 1 year. So what you're getting, I want to tease that out because that is incredibly valuable. So we are later going to be moving towards metered pricing, and I got a best of option here for you. So you have an opportunity to get grandfathered in, basically. But basically, we've got marketing experiments, the landing pages, all sorts of stuff like that. Next, we will set up for you, not just give you, but like actually set these up for you, custom with you, 5 landing pages, and I should even put an asterisk on the 5 because of the whole save as a copy. You could actually make that into 250 if you wanted to. You just save a copy, and so let's say you made a landing page that was just for bar owners, and then you save a copy and make another one for restaurant owners. Well, they're kind of similar, right? The language is sort of similar, right? Let's say you made one just for tractors, and then you went back and did another one that was just for medical equipment, right? You can make really unlimited landing pages and use that to hone that offer, and by aligning the audience to the offer, you're going to get a greater opt-in rate, right? So out of the gate, we will set up a minimum of 5 landing pages for you. And these are basically like mini sites. And I'll show you what some of these look like in a second. So our goal for you is what you'd call a lead generation funnel. And so remember that doctor, our goal is for people to as often as possible apply online, but if they can't, if they've got questions, then they schedule an appointment with you just like you would schedule with a doctor's nurse, right? It should be like you are the top of the chain and you are the problem solver, right? So you shouldn't be chasing people nearly as much as you probably have to, as seems to be common in the MCA industry, right? They should be scheduling appointments with you to get a problem solved. So that said, we're going to always push people through these series of online steps, right? So here you can kind of see, this isn't just one example of a landing page. And what we do is create this free guide called Money is Easy. And in this, how to get the money you want to grow your business without risking rejection, even if you have bad or no credit, right? And I know there's potentially language about bad credit, that kind of thing. The legality is going to vary. So all this stuff is crazy fast to change. You want to change some headline. If you have a better approach, then you just go in, and if you can write an email, you can create a landing page. It really is that simple. So anyway, this is basically kind of the stair, right? So the job of advertising is to get people to this page, right? That's the glance, and then the stare, and then this is the okay, I'm sort of interested. I don't trust you yet. And then we want to push them to here. Now, if they're a restaurant owner and they got to have money fast, great. Then they'll go straight into they probably will, right? So what'll happen is you'll get 1,000 people to this page, and then 220 of them will fill this out, and then out of 220, let's say 50 will actually jump into this, and then out of these 50, right, let's say 5 will make it all the way to the application, all in one smooth session. The other people you might have to push through, and that's the job of retargeting to say, hey, you were interested, we can help you fill out this quick application. And then as soon as they fill this out, we remove them from one other campaign and we add them to another campaign. Says, hey, we'd really like to help you, but we need your bank statements, right? That kind of thing. So our goal is to always be pushing for a complete file. And this is customizable to you. So you tell us what you need. We've got a bunch of templates, so we're not starting from scratch. And the more clients we work with, the easier and faster this gets. But this is basically we can make it as little or as much as you need to actually get the deal approved, right? That's our goal. So generally speaking, we're going to go to lead capture, and there can be dozens, there can be 5, 10, 500 of these pages that feed into any number of these pages. These can easily be cloned. So if somebody's coming in for tractor financing, then obviously their quick application might be different than somebody who's coming in for bar payroll rescue program, right? Something like that. So short app, and then we want to go to a full app with the bank statements, and then maybe we can even schedule an appointment right from here if we wanted to, or we could just go straight to scheduling an appointment. We've got different options. So the appointment scheduler, that's an example of something that's still in beta. You can use it now, but it's dumb. So if you have a lot of appointments, it is possible the system would make overlapping appointments. This is, as of the time of my recording, we're moving down the road. But next, what we'll do is we'll make it smarter where it won't make any overlapping appointments. So you can also clone variations by industry or by source. So let's say you had financial planners referring you deals, right? Or let's say you had business consultants referring your deals. You could set up a landing page for each one of those sources so that they have their own. And they feel reassured that it's tracked. It even has their logo on it. You got different options. Next, we want to make the traffic really easy for you. So it's an executive level course, and we call it traffic control. And it's kind of fun, and it's sort of like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to take you sailing. If you get to Los Angeles, let me know. I'll take you out sailing. That's what I do with my spare time. It's one of the things I'm into, and it gets me away from the computer. And our goal isn't for you to be the hammer swinger. It's just for you to be the quarterback. It's just for you to be the Sam Zell real estate developer, or Donald Trump, the real estate developer, not the president. Although I suppose the president too, he does delegate lots of work, right? So you just need to know enough to kind of get people to reach their outcomes and how to hold them accountable. So traffic control is a cool course because we've done lots of work in this space, right? So we're going to talk about free lead generation methods, how to generate leads for free, a bunch of different ways. There's actually multiple different ways to do that. The 17, that should actually be 19 different traffic methods. The $1 a day method, so some of the things that cost money, they don't have to cost very much, right? There is a $1 a day method that you can combine with the piggyback. So you can do a $1 a day piggyback method. There's the competition hijacker. We kind of touched on that with like SpyFu, and you basically just snipe your competitors. You look at who's being successful, just go clone them, right? Don't reinvent the wheel here. A vendor RFP system, and that's so that you can more easily hire. We also have the talent marketplace system. So we've got some people that we've worked with, or we've seen them, or our clients have worked with them, so we kind of know who they are. We've got the Bullseye Land and Expand, team accountability, and just what you need to know. In short, just what you need to know in order to manage people, right? So next, we've got Beta Sunrise on new systems. And this is incredibly powerful and incredibly important, because here's why. Remember this problem? I'm not a computer guy. Guess what? The world is becoming more computerized, whether you like it or not. So you don't have to be the computer person, but you do need one on your team, right? And what is happening is that systems like this are getting smarter and more advanced and more adaptive. And so you see this in the big .coms, and our goal is to make a systemized, bot-driven decision engine. Remember that project that I mentioned about the pharmaceutical decision engine? Well, guess what? We're building a financing decision engine, and it'll be customizable to you. You put in your funding sources, be like, okay, well, if this person needs this, and let's say their timeline is this, and their credit is this, and their assets are this, and the outcome is this, then use this lender, right? We can put in that type of if-then logic, and later even fuzzy logic, where it's let's say it's based on keywords or tags, right? So if they're in the medical space, then the lenders who fund medical are different than the lenders who specialize in payroll receivables, right, for staffing companies, that kind of thing. So what you want is a decision engine that can make this doc smarter. Well, that's how that's going to happen, right? Is guys like me are already working on this. We've already built a decision engine for pharmaceuticals, and believe me, it was complex. This is exactly what we're starting to apply, and so we want to work with you hands-on to make this decision engine so that it's repeatable and systemized. Basically, we want to be the computer nerds that help you, and so that brings me to free beta sunrise on new systems. So that's kind of, I have that labeled as a new system because parts of it are going to be new, right? So it's hard to place a value on that. Calling that $1,000 value is probably quite modest, right? Because that's going to be really substantial. That's going to allow you want to pump in 200 deals a month? No problem. System, to us, it's just software. We don't care. You could pump in 200,000 per month. We don't care, right? In the case of the pharmaceuticals, like each pharmacy generates on average, hundreds of orders per day, right? And so to us, it's just software and logic, right? So you need to have a computer person and a computer company on your team, because if you do not, you will for sure get left in the dust. And by working with us, you're sort of in a way like joining a club, right? So it's hard to underestimate the value of that. You're going to need some of this stuff regardless of working with us, right? So, and some of it you might already be paying for. So you might have a CRM, for example, right? So that's 1164 landing pages. We have charged other clients several $100s per page for each little mini site. That's at least that's a pretty conservative estimate, but let's call it 1485. Traffic control 497. The uploader. Oh, I didn't even mention that, but basically, yeah, that's kind of baked into the whole system. Is we'll set up a bunch of different templates, including your done for you mini application, and all this stuff is customizable, right? So it's all custom to you. So of course we'll just grab something off the gate, and like a golf game, that's like your big line drive, and then you're going to help us line up those final putts, right? So we'll kind of get that going. That's definitely $200. That's definitely too conservative. And free beta sunrise, that's the whole like decision engine. So where things are moving towards there, we're start to do asset matching, where we match the needs of a client to the supply of possible lenders, and it's going to be based on advanced criteria like credit score and need and timeline and stuff like that, right? So far we're looking at a value of $44,346. And if I just want you to think about this for a second, if this just, let's say that this was what you were doing, right? You decide, okay, fine, these guys want $4,300. If it just got you one extra closed deal per year, just one, would that be worth it? Well, it depends on the deal value, right? Obviously, if but I think in the business financing space, in the SBA loan space, absolutely, right? For a lot of MCAs, yeah. For some MCAs, no, right? But that's just one per year, right? If we just prevented one deal per year from falling out, would that be worth it? I think so, right? Because again, it's the referrals coming from that person too, right? And kind of rescuing that deal. And if we finally started curing you of founderitis, so that you watch this video and you're like, that Roger guy, he did make sense. I need a customer factory. Anyway, if we cure you of your founderitis and start so that you start to have a sense of control of your deal flow, is that worth it? I think so. What we're looking for today, right now, and this is kind of grandfathered pricing, is just $997. And as they say, that's the so if that's works for you and you want, then awesome. We're excited. We look forward to working with you. All you have to do is go to swiftcloud.ai/GoMCA. And that'll, kick things off. And then what we'll have, so let me take a quick sidebar. So what it's going to look like is we're going to reach out. So first you'll check out. Then what we'll do is we'll just load in a ton of stuff into your account, right? We're going to go in and kind of dump stuff in. Then we're going to schedule an appointment with you on the phone to kind of go through some more things, kind of find out like what are your industry specialties, and like, who do you want to use and like what's important, like who do you want to market to, what's important to you, and like let's actually get you value from this system. So hopefully that's you. I'm excited to work with you. Okay, now I want to speak to anybody who's on the fence. They're like, tempting, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I'm still open. Fine. Okay, let's dive into it. Can you do some of this yourself? Can you just sign up for SwiftCloud? Yeah, absolutely. You could, and it would be cheaper, but in the short term, but a lot more in the long run. Is your time worth more than $0 per hour? It will not save you money to do this yourself. Why? Because we want to guarantee that you get set up. Some of this stuff is complex. There's just no way around it. So we got to charge enough to make it worth our time to kind of set this up, really help you get value from it. So, all right. So if you're still on the fence, then I want to sweeten the pot for you, right? All right. Sales Army. Remember that client that I mentioned that recruited more than 530 commission only sales reps? I want to help you do the same. And this, when you tie it together with that decision engine, is the number one reason why I think you have to be doing business with us. Because if you don't, you will have your lunch eaten. Because guys like us will come along, combined with guys like you, who know the industry and know the space. And I'm just an amplifier for you. That's really it. I'm just an amplifier. It's not me on its own, right? But imagine your best thinking amplified out, where you had 5,000 sales agents blanketing, like talking to every single bar owner and tractor dealer and landscaping company and pool company and who knows what, right? In the country to do their financing, right? So we want to help you build a sales army. So we'll give you a sales army recruiting funnel. That says $297. That's definitely conservative. That client spent a couple $1,000 just to have us build that stuff. So we definitely are, conservative there. Bonus number 2. All right, reviews and referrals full system. So we built this really cool system where if the client's happy, then we want to share their love all over the web. And if they're unhappy, We want them to open a trouble ticket, make them feel heard, hopefully before they go trash you online. So you are good at what you do, presumably. The problem is this: unhappy clients are 800%, 8 times more likely to talk online. Most people who are happy, they just smile and be like, yeah, it was awesome. So thanks so much, man. Have a great weekend. And that's it. That's all. That's the end of it, right? There's no review online. There's no evidence of that happiness, right? So we have built this really powerful reviews and referral system, full system. And it's actually a completely different product, right? We'll just throw it in. We'll just set it up for you, right? And so what it'll help you do is get happy reviews from your happy clients and then turn those into marketing assets, right? And help you firewall and protect your brand. That alone is frankly worth what we're asking. So whatever. I'm trying to make this irresistible here for you. So the Sales Army, that's a pretty exciting system. It's basically a plug and play funnel with ads and copywriting, job ads, and you're gonna have to tweak some of the stuff because we don't know exactly like how you're gonna pay people, and like some of that stuff is gonna be up to you. But what we'll do is, like I said, with the golf game, we'll get you on the green, and then you kind of help. We'll work together to kind of chip and putt until we get that system lined up, right? So you got to add a comp plan and kind of have some reasons to work with you and what's in it for them, that kind of stuff we're going to have to know. So we'll have to kind of work on that with you, right? But basically that was how somebody recruited. Last, we'll take the risk. Okay, so back to the whole pricing. I mentioned that our pricing was changing. So later this year, we're going to move towards metered pricing. And I have a guarantee that I think is irresistible, which is this. Either A, so you're getting all this stuff for a year, and then some of the stuff you get to keep, even if we don't do business after a year, you still own it. You still own the license to it, right? You don't get the software, but you get the license, right? To like the landing pages and stuff, right? So you're buying those things. So if it's higher, let's say you use the heck out of this thing. Let's say you go recruit 5,000 agents, and we genuinely hope you do. Then a year from now, you'll have to pay more per month, but you'll be happy because you'll be making serious money, right? And you will not owe anything retrospectively. So you'll have been grandfathered in, right? And if it's lower, let's say that you prioritize time. Let's say you sail the ocean. Let's say you spend time, with soccer games and stuff like that, and you don't use the system that much, but it still makes you focus. For those people who value time more than money, right? Then, and you're not a heavy user of the system, no problem. If we don't know what this pricing is going to be, but where we're moving to is like a certain amount for each signature, for certain applications, for certain tasks that are delegated, for, let's say, time clock. Like, you're not going to use the time clock system at all, probably, but maybe your subcontractors will, right? So, and you do have the ability to do that, right? To give them an account and have them, handle the billing and kind of use that to manage your offshore, right? So you hire somebody in Philippines or something and pay them $3 an hour or something, then you got options, right? So we don't know exactly what the new pricing is going to be. And if it's higher, you won't owe anything for a year. You're solid. And if it's lower, then you'll get credited. Like, let's say you come out and it's like, okay, you've only used $800 worth, then you'll have a $200 account credit basically at the end of the year. Okay, so last thing, I touched on this Bloodhound system, and I think that it kind of occurred to me that you're going to need it in order to track your sales sources. So like the sales army. So let's say you build a sales army, right? Or let's say you get a whole bunch of tractor dealers referring you business, or whatever, right? Landscaping companies, and they say, yeah, I want to get, whatever. I want $500 per deal. You're going to have to know, where did this deal come from? So that whole Bloodhound system allows you to track really complex details. And basically what it'll look like is you got a couple different ways to do it. But each affiliate will have their own URL, and all they got to do is include as long as they use their URL, which they can bookmark or even mask if you know what that is. So they could set up, theirsite.com, which actually goes to your site with their affiliate tag in it. And thus that way, when the application comes in, okay, this is John Doe's deal. I know that at the end of the day, when this funds, I got to pay John Doe, right? So that's part of that whole Bloodhound system. We had other clients spend thousands of dollars for us to custom build a lot of that stuff. We're going to throw in key components for you to track your deal source. So total value they're looking at there, conservatively $10,000. What we're looking for is $997. And I think that we're going to probably raise this here fairly soon. But if you're still seeing this video, then it is still available as long as that URL works. If you go to that URL and it says $14.97 or $19.97, then sorry, are now getting more, like we're further along, and you have to pay more. I hope you're excited as I am, right? That's really what it is. Like we built a lot of this stuff out of necessity and out of working closely with clients, and we want to join your team and help magnify what you do and help magnify and amplify the value that you deliver to the market, and we can do that through automation systems. So go to that URL now, get started, and what we'll do is, like I said, it's going to then take you to a setup form, and we're going to be off to the races. So if for anybody who is really concerned about cash flow, this will not include the 500. You won't be able to track your sales army. But if you're super tight on cash flow, we will have a downsell, what this is called. So 197 to get started, 97 a month, but you do not get the Bloodhound. And then obviously after a year, it's going to end up costing you more. So if you can bite off the year, then we've got more incentive to kind of set you up. We'll also have slower setup on those clients. I got to just be honest, because it's just simply less money up front for us. So hope that helps. And I am a stand that this has helped your business regardless. And I definitely want to work with you to help you get a 1% better every single day, and we can help double your business and then double your business again and double your business again. It's just going to take a series of steps. It really is. And that first step, I think, a good step, is working with us. Get started now.